And in today's video, I'm gonna try and recreate window light using one light source in a studio environment. So let me run you through the gear I'm gonna be using. So to begin with, I'm gonna be using a 160 cm umbrella softbox. This is a white interior umbrella. So ideally what this is going to do is bounce the light into the umbrella and then spread it round and then make the light a lot more softer. On this, I've got a 200 watt strobe from Pixar Pro. This is a Lumi 200. What I'm also going to do is introduce a little bit of fill by using a foam board, and I'm also going to show you how you can add as well as subtract light by using just a foam board. So we got one light setup. For our camera, I'm going to be using the Sony a7 IV paired with the Tamron 28-75. I'm also triggering my light with the Godox/Pixar Pro trigger, so this will be able to change the settings, etc. And I usually tether to Capture One on my computer, but for this demo, I'm gonna simply just do it straight to camera, and then I'll post some of the final images at the end so you can actually see the difference of before and afters. So that being said, let's get a model in, let's get our light set, and let's get shooting. Joining us today is the wonderful Ramsey. I will put Ramsey's detail in the description below, so make sure you go check her out. So to begin with, initially, when you look at window light, it's a very soft light. So I went with a slightly bigger softbox. And if you're aware of the inverse square law, the size of the light in relation to the actual subject, the softer the light. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's no contrast. It just means that the light is nice and soft and diffuse. You have to be careful and understand light in general to know when to use certain light and when not to use certain light. So with that in mind, we are going to be using our 160 cm umbrella, white interior, and I'm positioning it about at an angle to Ramsey, and also I'm going to make sure that she turns towards the light as well a little. That way it will give us that illusion of window light. I'm going to do this in 2 or 3 different parts so you can actually see how the final image that we're going for actually turns out. So first of all, I'm going to show you how not to, and then I'll show you how to actually achieve the look we're going for. So first thing we're going to start with is I'm going to get Ramsey to pose towards the light. So I want her to go towards the light a little bit, but then she will bring her chin, nose, and face back towards camera. We're gonna first start by setting our ambient exposure. You're gonna wanna make sure you figure out before you get started whether you want any of the ambient light within the room that you're gonna be working in actually adding to the actual overall exposure. So what I'm going to do first is turn the lights off. I'm going to take a shot with just the ambient exposure that we decided to go for. So for this instant, I'm going to go with f6.3 ISO 100, and our shutter speed is at 1/60th of a second, and that gives us this. So 1, 2, 3. Almost a dark frame. We got a slight bit of light in there, but it's not going to be significant enough to actually make a massive difference to the overall image. So that is our first shot, so our ambient shot, making sure that you're happy with it, your settings dialed in. And next we're going to put our light on, and then we'll do a shot. Let's take a shot now with our lights on. We do have a white wall on that side there, which you can see, which may add some light back into Ramsey's face on that side, but it's not going to be as noticeable as when we use the foam board, which I will show you shortly. So now that we've got our lights on, let's take a shot with the same settings. Again, we're also doing mainly portrait with this. Because of the size of the light, I can probably get away with doing full body, but we're going to stick above the waistline with these particular shots so you can actually see what they look like. So let's go ahead and take a shot now with the light on. So make sure that's on. 1, 2, 3. And this is what the light looks like. As you can see, really nice, lovely, flattering light. But we can take this up a notch. But before we do that, I want you to pay attention to the positioning of Ramsey. So where she's at currently right now is she's kind of central to that light. But if we take her back slightly and more towards the edge of that light, that way we're gonna get a better sort of like exposure on the face, because the light is gonna kind of wrap around a little bit more and capture a little bit more of our face this side. Whereas when she was here, most of the light is actually going behind her as well. So by being slightly at the edge of that softbox, we'll get much more of a wraparound light. And the good thing about it is that with this softbox, I can already see roughly where that light is gonna fall on her face. So let's go ahead now and take a shot with her slightly back. Right, let's go ahead and take that shot again. 1, 2, 3. There you go, and you see the difference. It's a much softer light, and this is the light I personally prefer, and personally prefer in terms of light positioning, being slightly towards the edge rather than directly in the middle of the softbox. Let me show you now how we can actually improve this and make this better depending on what kind of feel and vibe you're going for. So let's add our foam board. We're gonna use the black side. If you don't know already, black subtract, white adds. So what the black side is going to do is actually add a little bit more contrast into the actual frame. It's not going to change the actual power setting of that light and the feel of that light. It's just going to change the actual contrast of the overall image. So let me show you how that works. So go. I'm going to get this in nice and close. And you'll pay attention to the right side of Ramsey's face. You can already see it, how it's gonna actually affect the overall image. But let me take a shot and show you. So let's take a shot with that now and see what that looks like. So same thing again, 1, 2, 3. There you go. So if you go from the before image and this image, you compare the two shots, you will see how it just adds a really nice sort of like gradient on the other side of the face, where you got a really nice fall off between lights and darks. So this is obviously a look that you can get, but this isn't the actual look that we're going for. What we want is a much more softer light, where it kind of replicates what window light would actually look like if you were to use just window light. So that being said, let's now flip that to the wide side and show you what that looks like. Same pose, good. So now you can already see what this light is going to do to the actual frame. And this is the overall look and vibe that we were going for today. So let's take a few shots and show you what this look like. So 1, 2, 3. And there you go, straight off the bat, absolutely beautiful. It just looks absolutely amazing, and it's so good on skin as well. And it's such a simple setup. One light, one reflector. If you do not own one of these foam boards, you can actually utilize a 5-in-1 reflector. I'm gonna grab one of those and show you now what the lighting would look like with that. So this is a 5-in-1 reflector, white on this side, it's got gold on this side, also has black, silver and a diffusion material in the middle. So for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna hold it in my hands, but you can put it on a stand as well. And just literally all you do is, or you can get somebody to hold it here, and it will give you exactly the same effect in terms of the portraits that we are looking to create today. So let's do that now. I'm going to try and balance this with one hand while taking a photo. No, it's all right. With photo with the other. So hold that right there for me, Ryan. It's good. 1, 2, 3. And there you have it, a very similar look to our previous shot using just a 5-in-1 reflector. Give us some